Welcome back to Education Matters. Did you correctly answer D, 65%? According to a recent study out of Georgetown University, by 2020, 65% of all jobs will require some post-secondary education and training. We're going to continue our discussion of work-based learning with a focus on community colleges, and joining with us this morning are Molly Osborne. Molly is the Director of Policy and Engagement with EDNC. EDNC is one of the go-to sources for education information, and they're doing a lot of focus on community colleges. We're going to talk about that. Next to her is Dr. Matthew Meyer. He is the Associate Vice President of North Carolina Community Colleges for Business Engagement, National and International Partnerships. So I'm just guessing by your title that what we were just talking about with Albert and Tracy in the first half is the kind of things that you like to see community colleges involved in.
Oh, absolutely. Business engagement, working to identify opportunities for our students to get that work experience. It's been a great partnership that community colleges have had with not only EDNC, but also NCBCE, and really trying to change that cultural norm around work-based learning. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. I don't want to go too long, but it's
preach on.
Community colleges. That's we like to do that, but we really want to change that cultural norm. We want students coming into higher education to think about work-based learning the same way they do English or math classes. It's just, I've got to take it because of the skills, the employability skills that you get out of work-based learning are so important.
Now, and I, when I think about, community colleges, to me, work-based learning and workplace, at least in my mind's eye of community college. I grew up in Fayetteville. Fayetteville Community College was, it was FTI back then when I was growing up, Fayetteville Technical Institute. But it was, I think about that was a place where there were a lot of the classrooms looked like workplaces. So I guess I've always sort of thought about community college, and I think that's still true, but it sounds like to me also that it's not just the community colleges, but our university systems too are really trying to smooth that transition for students into a productive career.
Oh, absolutely. We know that we have to start early with kids, and with community colleges, it's sort of an unfunded mandate that we work with our public school system to begin to talk about those careers and talk about the opportunities and the seamless career pathways through all the way through high school, community college, and into our wonderful public universities. And then hopefully all along that career track, that education track, there's opportunities to be at an employer, to get those work-based learning experiences.
Now, Molly, in your work with EDNC, you've spent some time at community colleges and also in schools. Is this something? I guess are you seeing more of it? Is it, or maybe it's been going on for a while, and we're all just starting to talk about it more?
So I think kind of both and. So it's certainly, we've seen more of it, and it's something that we've visited so far about 15 community colleges since last November. And we keep hearing over and over those same things that Albert was saying, that students need more soft skills, and employers are coming back to these community colleges and asking how they can design curriculum around those issues. But it is something that, we're seeing programs where, there is an identified need from industry, and they come into the community college and say, we would like our students to be prepared for this industry, and then they'll develop together a curriculum or a program around that. And now they're starting to work with the K-12 schools to integrate that completely. So I was at Forsyth Tech about a month ago, and we saw a cybersecurity program that is providing a full stipend, full tuition for 2 years for community college students, and then they go directly into a job with the government or end up teaching. And so that's kind of one of the bigger needs that we've been hearing is the cybersecurity. Employers are seeking those skills even more.
Well, speaking of the kind of skills, in my own background in professional work, I worked for Progress Energy, now Duke Energy. I worked for Time Warner Cable, now Spectrum. But both of those companies had we had specific programs and partnerships with certain community colleges with training people. And so again, here's my question: is we keep talking about these soft skills, and I've always sort of think there used to be a sort of feeling that schools got kids ready to learn, and they taught them certain things and got to a certain level, but then it was up to the businesses. It was really their responsibility to train them for the actual job that they were going to do. Has that changed?
No, I think what has changed is technology. So we see evolving, rapidly emerging technology, and it's challenging for industry. It's challenging for those businesses to stay up as well, as is it's challenging for our community colleges to keep up with that changing technology. I think if I've seen in classroom, I used to be in a classroom. I taught up at Asheville-Buncombe Technical Community College when I started my career, and we would put people in teams trying to disseminate those employability skills. But you get so focused on the technology that sometimes you miss, that grit and resiliency that individuals need in the workplace, and the ability to communicate. So you're so focused on the technology and programming that PLC or the robot or whatever. I don't think it's just become more challenging with the evolving technology that we have out there in the industry.
Right. Now, we talked about, you were just describing some things you'd already seen, but I want to make sure that we don't run out of time, that we get a chance to talk about. You guys are getting ready to blitz. I think if I read it correctly, you're going to visit all 58 community colleges next week?
Yes, so we will visit almost all 58 community colleges next week. We're actually starting, our CEO, Mebane Rash, will be at Halifax Community College this Friday to kick it off, and then we'll be seeing about 55 of them next week. So our staff will spread out across the state. We each have our own region. We'll be visiting 1 or 2 community colleges per day and getting to see, the great things that they're doing at those schools.
Now, just what do you want, coming on a show like this and also working with EDNC, I guess, what do you want the community, parents who are watching the show, thinking about their kids, what do you want them to know about community colleges?
Right. We're the best kept secret in the state, and we don't want to be that best kept secret anymore. Students can, in high school, begin taking community college class for free. It's just, come on.
Can you repeat that again?
For free. and it transfers up through. And then the other thing that kind of scares me, if I could talk about some fears, is are the trades. And through community colleges, you don't need an associate's degree to get a great job in construction or transportation. And that's what I want parents to begin to understand, that it's not your old school on the roof in the hot with a hammer anymore. Things have changed. There's technology, and we can disseminate that through our community colleges. Kids can get out debt-free. They don't have to have all that education debt that they're building up through our higher education system.
Right, I understand. Well, look, thank you for being here and telling us about that. We'll look forward to seeing what you guys show us next week about community colleges. Thanks, Molly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
After the break, this week's Leadership Spotlight.